Hello, I'm Stephen Spellman, and I'm the president of the Dunedin branch of the New Zealand-China Friendship Society here in Dunedin, and I'm talking with Yumin. Hello, you. Hello. I believe you leave for Shanghai soon to resume your university lecturing life.
Yes.
What will you miss most in Dunedin, apart from me, of course?
Oh, yesterday a friend, she emailed me for the recipe. I give her a recipe of tofu.
Tofu?
Yeah, I like tofu in Dunedin.
Tofu in Dunedin, that rhymes well, doesn't it? Is that tofu?
Yeah, it's tofu, tofu, the same.
Okay. Okay, so why particularly do you like Dunedin tofu?
I think they taste better. I don't know why. That's one of the reasons I didn't flee back to China, although I realized I will stay here for 3 years, you know.
Yeah, so that's the first time I've heard a Chinese person say they stayed in Dunedin for the tofu. What do you think, or why do you think understanding Chinese culture is so important for New Zealand and for Dunedin?
Understanding Chinese culture is very important. And we can see there are so many Chinese people, and Chinese people is a big element for the society.
Yeah.
So in order to establish a harmonious society, I think enhancing the understanding between different cultures is very important.
Yes, yeah. Do you think there are great misunderstandings between our cultures?
I don't know big ones, but there are many minor ones.
So do you think we actually think differently from the Western Kiwis anyway, from Chinese?
Yeah, we think in different ways, we live in different ways.
Okay, so if you're going to share the future, our understanding needs to grow, and that comes through Mandarin language, really is a good method, and of course through the culture.
Yes.
For instance, Beijing opera.
Yeah.
So what would you like to emphasize about Beijing opera today?
Today I will introduce briefly the history of Beijing opera.
Oh, could I just say this is part of a series of 6 Beijing opera sessions, and
Yes.
Yumin will give us before she leaves for Shanghai.
Yes.
And this is lesson number 1.
Okay, so first we will briefly mention the history of Peking opera. Peking opera is a form of a theater rich in tradition, combining and integrating a whole range of art forms. First, let's have a look. 贵妃醉酒.
Oh yes, the drunken concubine.
Yes, the drunken concubine.
Young Guifei sings to the moon, the flowers and the birds.
Of her loneliness.
Of her loneliness.
Yes.
Why is she lonely?
She's one of those women in history, like Helena of Troy, whose beauty led to wars. This opera tells that even a special favorite of an emperor sometimes has a lonely evening because the emperor has many concubines.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, the music is very nice, so we have no time to let her sing.
Maybe I can play a piece shortly.
Okay. During the Qing dynasty, opera was very popular in Peking. Kunqu, one of the local opera from the Jiangsu province, the southern part of China.
Kunqu, Jiangsu.
Yeah, was favored by the educated people and the aristocracy, including the imperial family and some of the emperors themselves. In 1790, the Qing Emperor of Qianlong marked his 80th birthday. So theater troops from all over China enter into Peking to celebrate the emperor's
So at that
birthday.
time it was a status thing, was it? You had to be one of the elite to appreciate the opera.
No, not really. Opera is quite how to say? It's kind of a popular music from quite
time.
popular. Yeah, at that time. But I mean, Kunqu is quite how to say? Only appreciated by the educated people.
Right.
Yeah. So for now we will talk about the 4 theater troops from the Anhui province. These 4 theater troops that arrived in Beijing and celebrated the emperor's birthday.
Okay.
And after that, they stayed in Beijing, and their performance attracted diverse audiences and occupied a dominant position among all the other
So
troops.
different theatre troupes from different parts of China.
Yes. But what about the main features of the Anhui theater style? The first feature is its music. Its music combined 2 melodies, A Huang and Xi Pi, but this kind of a combination had not been heard before.
So
before
is
the
that like
emperor's birthday.
the treble and bass of Western music, or something different?
It's different music melodies, yeah. And the second characteristic is Anhui style incorporate other forms of opera. So that means Anhui opera didn't give up the other qualities of regional opera.
Right.
And also they use Beijing dialect for songs and dialects.
Okay.
Yeah. So this kind of fresh style of music and theater became popular in Peking and eventually came to replace the Kunqu.
Right. Anhui.
Anhui from Anhui province. But Peking opera is not the only style still existing in China.
Really?
Yeah. Stephen, you mentioned that you have been Chengdu.
Chengdu. Yep.
Sichuan
province. Yeah.
So have you watched the
Oh yes, I
Sichuan
did.
opera?
Yes, I did. The face changing.
Ah, yes, yes.
The masks change so rapidly on the faces.
So
I mean, like 1 a second or something. One every.
very fast.
Yeah.
So Sichuan opera is only one of the regional operas. Actually, some references list more than 300.
Really?
Yeah, 300 regional opera styles in
Wow.
China.
That's almost. I think I read somewhere there's 300 regional dialects. So does every dialect have its own opera, or
Yes.
is that?
Yes. For instance, Cantonese opera, they speak Cantonese.
Mm.
Can you speak Chinese dialects?
Chinese dialect? Would that be Mandarin? Mandarin?
Mandarin
No?
is the Chinese we learn and spoken by most of the Chinese. But for instance, I speak a little bit Cantonese
Yeah.
and Shanghainese, and also my dialect from my hometown.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Just now we mentioned the regional opera styles. They are different, but they all share many similarities. For instance, each has the 4 role types: the female, the male, the painted face, and the clown.
the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, performances consist of singing, dancing, acrobatics, poetry, and gesture, something else. And also, the emphasis is on costume and makeup rather than props and scenery.
I see.
The most important, so all the regional operas often tell the same stories. Yeah, although with different, different characters or different endings, but usually they tell the same stories.
Okay. The dialects we were talking about. I mean, some of the dialects are as different as French and English, aren't they? They use Roman numerals, but and the Chinese use the same characters, but the actual words between, say, Cantonese and Mandarin is completely different, isn't it? Putonghua and
You mean
Guangtonghua.
the written system of these two?
No, the spoken
The
words.
spoken,
Yeah, it's like a different
spoken.
language.
Quite different.
Yeah.
And for instance, Minnanhua is also very different from the Mandarin.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
just an aside there.
Do you want to have a look kind of regional opera?
Yes, why not?
Yeah. So now I will show you regional opera. the emperor's female son-in-law. Okay, here we are.
Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time for this talk, and we'll have to come back to you next time.
Okay.
Would you like to dedicate a piece of music to anyone?
Thank you. How about the song 芒花?
芒花?
The lyric composer is Zhuang Lu. He's from Taiwan.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll do our best. And I'd like to dedicate it to all the frogs that have come out of the wells and are listening to this program.
Thank you.
Bye.